Hello, everybody. It's CJ Miller. I'm in my apartment in downtown Shreveport, Louisiana. Uh, we're across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. It's easier to get a view when the doors are open. The outside of the windows here, I can't get to because it's on the outside of the building. I can't get to them to clean them. But I need to do something tomorrow with this door. Maybe I can get that windows and this door polished up. But I do want to invite everybody to come check us out in Shreveport, Louisiana, and our surrounding areas. I love it, and I love the idea of sharing those good things about my hometown with people. So I haven't posted in a while, but let me get some soda. I'm going to be talking. Get my Coke Zero here ready. Okay, so I did not do a food video, but I did have people come over, and it was such a rare occasion because I know a lot of people who have very active careers that they're working on, and it's really hard to get a small group of people together on the same day. Like maybe I can have one person over or two, or whatever, but this particular group, and not to mention for the food that we were having to get people to agree to it, because I love lamb chops, and that's what we had as our uh, um, main course. I was going to say our headlining thing, but it's not that. But our main course was lamb chops and you know. Um, Mixed vegetables. I'll tell you about the menu in a moment. But first, this group of people, I love them. Um, so there's a couple and their newborn baby, and then a friend of mine, she's an expectant mother, and then another guy, and he's actually kind of he was the new guy in this particular dynamic. Not that he's new to me, but and I love that. I love getting people together. And it's going to be a smaller group like that to get, what joined us together basically is none of, when I mentioned lamb chops, I was like, I think I'm the only one that I know that just loves lamb chops, and this was the shoulder T-bone cut of lamb chop, not the rack of lamb chop, but just to get that, and it's like, oh no, people were like, no, we love it. This particular group of people liked lamb chop, so that was why we were together. It was for the enjoyment of the lamb chop. But the fact that there's, throwing a new person, a new mix in the element, I kind of wish it was someone else, but that's cool. I wish there'd been like more than one new person. Like if I could have gotten like two or three uh, people uh, that were unassociated. That way, we want to encourage, yes, let's talk, but let's engage people. But also, it's kind of cool because like a like he's not new to me, but a new person in the group, you don't want to make them feel the center of or cross-examined. It's kind of a thing, like, hey, uh, if all the attention is focused on this one person, they might feel like they're put on the hot seat and there's something like that. Or, uh, well, so that's kind of cool. But ultimately, we all have the similar taste in music, maybe from different eras and stuff like that. But my playlist is great. I play music from like early rock and roll throughout today, and then it's like on a uh, Echo Dot, and I tell people, hey, if a song comes on and you feel like asking Ziggy, that's my thing. If you ask him to skip it, that's fine, just two or whatever. If a song comes on and you just really find it objectionable, that's cool. But yeah, I want to do a real casual gathering, so people sitting at the table, fine. But then if somebody feels comfortable sitting back in one of the chairs, that's fine too. I just want it really casual and family style friendly. And there's a time for formality in a dinner setting, such as a wedding or something like that. But if you've been to a wedding, people are going to get up and do a chicken dance and whatever. So how formal, you know what I mean? Whatever. It's nice to dress up and everything like that. But if you're just going to act the fool, what's the point in formality except for just the fun of it, you know? So, what else is going on? The menu, and I'll get right to it. We had I started out with the charcuterie, which was a bread that I got at a farmer's market. It was a good table bread, and the dough, it was huge loaf, and the dough had been proofed. What this means uh, for the people who don't do bread, um, it's a really, really good uh, way to do a traditional bread. I do a quick bread recipe, but but that means that the yeast that you use, uh, uh, you only need one rise out of it, and it does well. It does well. But if you do really good to do a traditional yeast recipe where it rises and then you pound it down and you let it rise again, and sometimes you could even do like a third pounding and let it rise a third time. But proofing the dough means you take it and you put it into the loaf that it's going to be on, and it's swollen, it's full size, ready to cook. But what you do is you put it in a warmed oven, not cooking temperature. Uh, I wouldn't recommend more than 175. But basically, what you do is you put, if you can, you know, a soft maybe cheesecloth over the dough, but you actually don't have to do the cheesecloth bit, but something, you know. In a warm oven like that, you can use a regular towel as long as it's staying on the pan. But whatever, whatever it is that you're doing, you don't even have to cover it. But the whole idea really is to kind of create a sweating effect on the top of the dough. You don't want the bread to really rise at this point because you want it to be as fully risen as it can be without cooking. And basically, the heat of this is going to kind of like draw some of the moisture to the top, and then the top, and so the moisture sitting on top of the dough is going to help provide some heat and kind of give a firmness. What happens is it thickens your crust. Proofing the bread, basically, you do it only to create a thicker crust. Uh, so instead of a thin crust like your sliced sandwich bread, you might have a crust that instead of being paper thin, might actually be like maybe half a centimeter thick or something like that. But especially if you're going to do a real large, hearty table bread, it's good to do this with. And we did that. And this is good because some of the food that we had today was brothy. So basically, I had the bread, butter, some down home sausage, which is kind of like an Eckrich, but it's a local sausage that we have here. And we love it. It's just a smoked sausage that I had, and I brushed with a little bit of barbecue sauce and put that on the table with the various cheeses and the bread, and that was our charcuterie that people could like munch around on until the main course. Now the main course, uh, I took some of the sausage without the barbecue sauce, and I put it first off. I put slices of carrots and a potato medley, whole potatoes, into some water, and the water, and I used uh, a bouillabaisse base or a gumbo base. I guess I should say because there's actually no fish in this. It's not really a bouillabaisse, but whatever. But it was a gumbo base, but it didn't get. It wasn't a true gumbo because it's all potato, uh, carrots, and maybe a little balsamic vinaigrette, lots of water, and then enough of this gumbo base. To give it just a little bit of something so that it's not just vegetables floating in water, but there's actually seasoning or flavor to it. So but it was great. The lamb, the shoulder lamb chops, not the rack of lamb chops, But they look good too. But these were the shoulder lamb chops that look like T-bones, little tiny little T-bones. And so, and a whole cookie sheet, like maybe an eighth of a cake pan. You know, that's like those are huge. So there's a lot, and I laid them out, and well, first off, they were marinated in a roux, uh, in a diluted roux with a little bit of vinaigrette and garlic. So very similar to what the vegetables were cooked in on the stove. But I took them out of the marinade and put them dry onto a foil lined cookie sheet. And then sprinkled down a Greek seasoning along the top of them to give it a little bit. And then, of course, we had the American staple, which is a mint jelly, which I have not had mint jelly with lamb before. I never thought it was a priority. Hey, you know, guess what? I like it now, and it did work well with the lamb. Lamb is a very powerful flavor, but I had that's why that's why I used a lot of flavors in the cooking because I knew that it would that the lamb can hold up well, you know. And the cheeses that I uh, choose are traditionally hearty: a good blue cheese, a good Havarti, a good smoked cheddar. If you've seen my, you know, I've got like a basic uh, standard wheelhouse of cheeses that I like to use on any given time, you know. And there's it's almost always the same because there's so many. And then of course everybody I know really is dieting uh, or maintaining, so we didn't really do a dessert. And the food was wonderful, and I didn't do a food video because people began to arrive just as I was putting the finishing touches onto the table. And so what I did not want to do then is you know, I didn't want to seem like garish or you know, I didn't want to be making like a little video or something like that while I had company. That would be like um, rude, really. So yeah, but there's plenty for leftovers, and I'll probably do a little video tomorrow with the leftover. But yeah, uh, it was fun. The food was delicious. I know I made it, so it's whatever. But the main thing is that we had an interesting, fun company, you know. And if you get a chance to, this is something I picked up. Now, this is Joan Crawford's My Way of Life. I read the book. Some of her things were like just crazy, out there, whacked out, crazy, you know, very arcane ideas that just whatever, that are not based in etiquette, but based in personal preference, her way of life. But one of the things that I did like is that she's like, okay, bring a mix of people together. You know, they doesn't have to be all one person from one industry or one office or something like that. Bring people together uh, and let them meet and let them mingle and everything. And especially at a small gathering like this, you know, it's good to do that. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I could comfortably do uh, 24 to 25 people in this particular room if we wanted to fill it up. You know, I don't like large groups like that. I like anywhere from, you know, 5 to 10 people, I think is plenty enough for me at any given time at a little dinner gathering and everything. And I don't do the swinging from the chandelier. I don't do party, you know, because not that I don't like that. It's just that I live in an apartment and I want to be a conscientious neighbor. So I want pleasant music, nice conversation, getting to know ya, and then hopefully, even if it's only a few hours and people really don't get to make those connections enough that become intimate, then maybe what I want to do is um, make people have them feel comfortable enough that when they come together one night, then maybe a few weeks later, when we do it again, the same group of people will feel comfortable coming together and a little bit more comfortable each time. And maybe they'll get comfortable bringing around, their plus one or something like that. Uh, uh, there was a couple other people that I did invite or had in mind to invite, and like I said, it's hard to get people to come together because we're busy. But for something that's for me, it's not that off the wall. But I live in Shreveport, Louisiana. Not everybody's going to go for a lamb chop. It's kind of like sometimes when you have seafood, a lot of people really don't want to do seafood. If someone's having a shrimp dinner, I can't go to that because I have allergies to shrimp and everything like that. So I get it, as a picky eater myself, and then, so. Uh, but yeah, um, all in all, the evening was a success. It was fun. I had fun, and I think everybody else felt comfortable enough. And I want people to come around, and it fills my heart uh, to be able to be a charitable host. Love and light, peace. Good night.